crochet friends, it's Christina from City Bright Knits. I'm coming to you on the road from Switzerland. I am here traveling with my husband and my cat Marmalade, and I have brought crochet projects with me, so I want to pop on and give you a real life vlog of what I've been working on this summer, what I've just finished, and to share some upcoming thoughts with you for the next season in autumn. So if you are like me and you like to free your brain with crochet, leave me a comment below, let me know what you're working on, and let's share some inspiration and get started. Hey friends, a little background update. Last summer I traveled to Switzerland and I updated you with a vlog of what I was working on, mostly cardigans and colorful bandanas to wear like out in the mountains. This year I'm all about blankets, blanket crochet. I've crocheted 3 blankets. Technically 4, 2 were the same blanket, but I made them in different colors. And I wanted to share those with you this year. I usually travel to Switzerland in the summer. It's something that my husband and I have started since we've moved to England. Figure we make the most of it coming from the US. You know, we're so much closer, so it's really easy just to take a nice road trip with our cat Marmalade and to explore some countries that we don't usually get to from the US as easily. So that's why I'm in Switzerland. You can see this cozy wood paneling behind me. We are staying at an Airbnb, which has actually been really nice and really easy. It's been really lovely for me to set up my crochet and just feel kind of the cozy warmth of this chalet. So let me start by showing you some of the blankets that I've been working on. I'll link that all down for you below, all the pattern info, as well as some of the inspiration that's like come from this. I'll give you a little like snippet so that you can maybe share with me your thoughts on your crochet inspiration too. Most of mine comes from nature or colors and flowers, things that I see. And this summer has been all about kind of alpine meadows for me. So let's get started. Let's have like a cozy little discussion on that. So first things first, I want to show you this blanket that I crocheted, as well as I've written a pattern for it. I am calling it the Meadow Flowers Blanket because I'm all inspired by alpine meadows this summer, and I have so many friends expecting little baby girls at the end of the summer, so I wanted to create a fun crochet pattern that I could share with you makers, as well as I can make for myself to make baby gifts for my friends' upcoming babies. So this is one, it's made with chenille. It's called Toucan from Hobbii yarn. They were gracious enough to send this to me to work with, and I created this pattern. I did have a pattern test for it over on Instagram. I had some lovely testers make up different versions and help me finalize this pattern so it is clear and easy to follow along to. My favorite part is this little dimply edging that I have. It's super easy, very beginner pattern. It's made up of granny squares. I love granny squares if you didn't already know. And because it's this chenille velvety yarn, it's just so soft and so lightweight. So it should be perfect for baby to use and to carry around when they get older. So that's the Meadow Flowers Blanket. I will link it for you down below, as well as the yarn and the colors that I used from Hobbii yarn. The second blanket I have made this summer is this beautiful hexagon quilt, I'm calling it. It's part of a crochet along that I joined on social media, hosted by Cypresstexiles. She has some really beautiful crochet along events that she hosts every year. And I saw another friend of mine, Gumleaf Crochet, shout out to you. I saw you posting your beautiful hexies, and so I wanted to join along and make some as well. My inspiration for this one was to do stash busting, to use some colorful hand-dyed yarns from my stash that I've been collecting over the years. I usually just keep them all in a plastic baggie, and I was able to just grab that baggie and started going through the colors haphazardly. So each one of these to me has a special little story behind it, where I got it. For instance, I got this color in a shop in San Francisco. I got this blue color when Furls was still doing hand-dyed yarns. No, I actually won that in a giveaway, which is, you know, it just invokes so many memories in this little blanket for me. This colorful rainbow yarn actually has little beads in it, which are probably too small to see, but my cousin gave me that yarn when I first started crocheting. And this one's a hand-dyed gingerbread color that I picked up when I was traveling in Arizona. It's just a fun way for me to kind of have these memories all in one place. I will say this is probably the most labor-intensive project I've ever worked on. Just the nature of these DK fingering, probably smaller than DK. These are fingering and sport weight yarns. And it was a lot of fiddly little work to kind of weave these together and to follow the hexagon shape. So this one is a very meaningful project to me. It's definitely going to be a reminder of this summer. I gave it a fun little edging that I just kind of made up myself. It's one of the things I love about crochet. You can just kind of make it up as you go. Whereas for me, knitting is like, if you make one mistake, it's like you're doomed, rows down. So, okay, the third blanket that I have worked on, no pattern, but I have shared a YouTube tutorial on how I've worked kind of the body of this blanket, as well as I'm sharing small videos on how to do the edging. So it's no pattern, but I am sharing tutorials on how I have put this blanket together here on YouTube. And so this one's called my Midsummer Alpine Blanket. It is not a formal name and it is not a formal pattern, but it's just something that I created out of the joy of my heart to kind of express the mood that I have in Switzerland, hiking around, looking at the beautiful snow-covered mountains and all of the streams that flow through the fields and the flowers that grow. So this one is just really special to me to kind of commemorate this summer, and all of the colors in it are 100% cotton. This is a pistachio green mixed with kind of a Turkish blue, and the vines are an applique overlay that are actually kind of loosely stitched on. And then for the flowers, I did some just embroidery to accent the centers, as well as to kind of pin down the petals so that they weren't flopping all over the place. And the edging, you can see, actually isn't just white. It has some gray in there, which I actually used a lark's foot stitch for that. And the color motif that I chose was kind of to represent green meadow fields with kind of water running through them. So this is my alpine blanket, not a formal pattern, but just something that I love. I love using cotton yarn. Cotton is my favorite, in case you didn't know that. In fact, that leads me to my next segment, let's call it, which is my work in progress. Let's talk about a whip that I'm working on. It's also in cotton. I don't know if any of you love cotton as much as I do, but please leave a comment below and we can share all our love for that. I'm making granny squares out of these kind of cream soda inspired colors. This is like a beigey cream mixed with a tomato red and a light baby pink. I'm making a bunch of these squares. It's just a compass circle design granny square, and I'm doing a half arch in a different accentuating color for those, because what I have in mind to make is kind of like, I'm gonna grab it here for you, a duster. I was going to make a top for summer in kind of an Aperol Spritz theme, but since summer's kind of fading behind us, I'm going to change it to more of a fall theme. And here's what I have so far. It's only like a crop midi length, but in my mind, I'm envisioning it going all the way down to maybe the knee. It's a lot of granny squares, more than I expected. It's 8 granny squares across for front and back. And then at the sides, I'm adding an extra granny square just so it kind of flows and it's not too huggy. The motif that I'm doing is the same one that I just showed you. So it's a compass granny square, and then I'm just accentuating the top arches in a different color. One design feature that I'm really proud of in the middle is how it's coming together to show you, and maybe I'll show you the back so it's easier to see because the front's open. But I have centered in the back these granny squares to come together to kind of fade in at the corners, just to give it a little more of an interesting look right in the center. So you can kind of see how that is. So that's what I'm working on. It's a duster and it's made from cotton. It has a little weight to it, which I think is going to be perfect for the fall autumn season. And I'm going to be adding more rows to it to make it longer, because right now it's about hip length and I need to make rows of 8 granny squares across to make it longer. So that's what I'm working on. how I came up with that was just, I had these beautiful colors and I love making garments. I thought it was just going to be a short sleeve top at first. And then when I had stitched it together, I didn't really like the way the sleeves were falling. They were a little too fluttery and I wanted it to be more of like a square geometric shape. It is from Hobbii yarn, these yarns that I'm using, and the point of it is to be like a graphical design. It is Friends Cotton 88, 100% cotton. It's a graphical campaign from Hobbii, and so that's why I wanted it to be a little more geometric. And so I started making these granny squares, and then as far as determining the shape and size, I just hold them up to me and see how many I'm going to need across to fit me personally. I am working on these slowly but surely. Ideally, I would be finished with this before we leave Switzerland, just so I can use the sunshine here, as well as there's a cute little yard outside that I don't currently have in London. I have an outdoor space, but it doesn't have green grass and the mountain views, obviously. So ideally, I would finish that. That is a TBD. I haven't necessarily. I'm still working on some squares here. You can see how I've made the center, which is 3 different rounds to get to 36 stitches total, and then I'm outlining just half of it in red and half of it in that baby pink color, and then from here I'm going to introduce like this cream color and do the top half arch in cream and the bottom half arch in this pink color. So that's what I'm working on. That's what I've been doing in Switzerland. I think for the fall, I'm going to probably try to make more cardigans. I have in mind to make like a cardigan that I can just throw on and use all the time, specifically when traveling, like on an airplane or something like that. I would love to create that for myself, but I've also been considering that for a few years and it still hasn't come together. As well as I'm trying to find a new audiobook. So if any of you are into listening to audiobooks or have just read something that you like recently, I really enjoy like Colleen Hoover. I know she's popular right now because her new movie is coming out. But please like share any book ideas that you have with me, book recommendations, nothing scary, more on the like, I like kind of like war history or rom-com kind of books, like anything kind of loosely based on maybe an adventure. And so I like to just kind of listen to audiobooks while I work on crochet. Sadly, I haven't had enough time to do that this summer. I still have like 3 credits on Audible that I need to use. And I've just finished Gentleman in Moscow. So if that's any kind of like recommendation, or if you have anything like similar down that vein. So those are what I'm working on. I'm going to be traveling back to London in the beginning of September, and I will have access to my yarn stash there. I have one idea for a kind of a crafty autumn pillow, but I don't have any fiberfill stuffing, so I don't want to have to order some. So I'm kind of deciding if I'm going to work on that or not. But that's what I have upcoming. If any of this sounds good to you, please hit subscribe at the bottom, and I will be seeing you next time. Thank you so much for joining me, and I really hope to pop on with more crochet and chats because I love connecting with you. So please let me know in the comments anything you'd like to talk about or hear, or just share your crochet or knitting ideas with me. Bye.